you here, and welcome back to a brand new YouTube video. Today, as you can tell from the title, we are going to be making some ramen. My favorite typically that I would get in restaurant would be tonkatsu. That was not the one in the lovely gifted cookbook my sister gave me. The one that is in this book is called miso ramen, and miso ramen is pretty straightforward. It has miso paste in it. I've been wanting to make it for a long time. With that being said, if you are new here, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a video that I ever post. Also, check out my website. That'll be in the description box below. You can get merchandise there as well, so be sure to go check that out if you are interested. I am actually talking from the future right now. What you are about to see has been done in the past 3 days of me cooking. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. The things you'll need for the dashi stock will be 1 packed cup of large fish flakes, also known as bonito flakes, and 1 piece of dried kombu kelp, also kind of known as just dry seaweed. I looked it up to make sure that dry seaweed was okay, and it basically said that it did. Here's my proof. The last thing that you will need will be 3 cups of water, and that is on the stove. So without further ado, let's head to the stove. The first step is to add your seaweed and add it to the pot and bring this all to a simmer. It has been simmering for 15 minutes. As you can see, the seaweed has probably broken apart if it's not that durable. So I'm just gonna try and get as much of the seaweed on the sides and in the pot that I can before we strain it at the end. You're gonna wanna turn your heat up. Once you do that, it's time to add the bonito flakes. And just let that sit for about 2 minutes. Now that's done, turn off the heat, cover the pan, and let that steep for about 10 minutes. It has now been steeping for about 10 minutes, and now it is time to strain it. By the way, this is sitting on top of my Sailor Moon thingy. And I'm putting it through a coffee strainer, by the way, because I want it to be very smooth coming out of here. This is what we are left with, our nice fragrant dashi stock. Now on to the next component of our ramen. The ingredients that you will need for the cashew pork will be 1 cup of rice wine, 1 cup of soy sauce, 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar, 3 green onions with the dark parts discarded and the roots thrown away, a 2-inch piece of thinly sliced unpeeled ginger, 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil, and 1 to 1/2 pounds of pork belly with the skin removed. Now let's hop into the making. The first thing we're gonna be doing is something I've actually never done before, wrapping this pork into a little roll to give it that nice signature pork and ramen look. So we're gonna be using baker's twine for this. Here we go. So we're just gonna roll it. Okay, I'm just gonna tie it. Make sure you're working on a very clean surface. So that's 1 piece, and just cut that. Okay, so my meat is finally rolled up into this really tight ball, and now we're going to move over to the stove. So I am at the pot, and I completely forgot to press the record button, but what I've added so far is basically everything besides the oil. Add in 2 cups of water. Now turn this on low heat because we're gonna go over right now to sear our meats and put it in here, and after we put it in there is when we're gonna wanna bring it to a boil. Over here is where you're gonna want to get your pan to a very high heat. All we're gonna do is sear our meat, and we want a lot of flavor to form. Now it's time to transfer over to the marinade. All right, douse this into it. So let's have the meat become one with the marinade. We'll also be using this mixture of liquids for our other things like the eggs and the bamboo shoots. Now that this is doused, I am going to let this get to a boil now. The mixture is now boiling, so I'm now gonna reduce the heat to around medium-low and just let that simmer for about 2 hours, flipping here and there just to make sure everywhere gets coated. Also, if you look at it and see any foam, make sure to scrape that off. But I will see you guys in around 2 to 3 hours. All right, so the meat is now done cooking. It looks very good right now. And so what we're gonna wanna do is just let this cool in the marinade and then set it aside in a Ziploc bag and chill overnight. And we will get back to this piece of meat when it's time for the ramen assembly. The ingredients that you will need for the marinated eggs will be half a cup of the marinade that we use for the pork and 2 eggs that'll be boiled. These are gonna turn from raw eggs to boiled eggs in 3, 2, 1. What we're gonna do now is just put the eggs in a little container. And then after you're done doing that, pour in your marinade to the container as well. If you need to, get a little spatula to help you get all of the excess. Honestly, just let it sit for as long as you can, but preferably overnight. Ingredients that you will need for the bamboo shoots, aka minma, will be 1 cup of plain bamboo shoot strips, half a cup of the marinade, half a cup of mirin, and 1 cup of our dashi stock. Let's hop over to the stove. So the first thing that we're gonna wanna do is put everything into the pot. All right, now all we're gonna wanna do now is bring that to a boil. Now that it's brought to a boil, turn the heat down to about medium-low or low. Get a lid and cover it and let that sit for 30 minutes.
A few moments later.
The bamboo shoots have finished boiling, and it is now time to put them in a container and let that sit overnight or just as long as possible. The things you'll need for the broth will be 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, 3 tablespoons of miso paste, 1 cup of dashi stock, and 2 tablespoons of mirin, 2 cups of chicken stock, 1/4 of a large onion that was minced, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, and 1-inch piece of fresh ginger peeled and minced, 1/4 pound of ground chicken. The recipe originally calls for ground pork, however we couldn't find any, so we went with ground chicken, and 3 green onions with the dark part discarded and also the roots. So without further ado, let's head to the stove. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is add your sesame oil. Turn your heat on and let that heat up. Once you can tell that your oil is nice and hot, go ahead and add the onions, ginger, and garlic. Add your 1/4 pound of meat. The meat is now all cooked, and now it is time to add the miso paste. Once you've got that, pour in all of your liquids. So this would be your mirin, your dashi stock, and your chicken stock. Get your green onions. Now you're just gonna want to bring this to a simmer. Let it simmer for 10 minutes. By the way, guys, while all of this is happening, I also have my water boiling with a little bit of salt for the noodles. So I'm bringing this to a boil as well as making the broth. Just a little multitask so I can get things done quicker, you know. So here's our meat, which is very cold because it's been sitting for a couple of days. Right now it doesn't look too appetizing because it hasn't been warmed up, but that's what we're gonna do right now. Now we should, when we cut in here, have a nice little roll effect going on. So let's see. Oh shoot, okay, that's fine. That's a nice piece. Pieces are gonna be kind of the ones that won't be shown on the final bowl, you know. So these are our good pieces. Now what we're gonna do is broil these. 3, 2, 1. All right, so now it's time to put this in a broiler. I'm going to flip them when I see that they're getting to a nice color that I want to.
Many minutes later.
Where everything is done. I have my noodles. I didn't really film too much about them. They're just noodles. I guess we'll start with our luscious, ooh, just look at that. Look at how amazing that looks. Our great bamboo shoots. This is what was strained outside of the broth. Ginger, onion, garlic, and chicken. Yeah, that was really good. So I just felt like I had to add that in there. Green onions. And then our eggs. Fish cake. To be honest, I don't really know what kind of design I'm going for here. And then our seaweed. Oh shoot. Let me get a nice close up before I put in the broth, which is probably gonna ruin it all. Delicious. Let's go ahead and add this broth. And there we go. All right, now let's go and try it. Okay, so I have my ramen right here, and now I'm just gonna try it. Now, ramen is my favorite food, so I'm going to tell it straight up on whether this is good or not. This is so good. I'm gonna try this marinated egg. Here it is. Ramen is such a perfect food. It has everything you could want in it. It has like the savoriness. Also, these bamboo shoots right here have such good like sweetness to them. I need a spoon because of this broth. Yeah, that's fire too. Every time I eat ramen, I have to put chili oil in it. I gotta put chili oil in this. I like spiciness. This is it. Here's the damage that I've done. You can't quite see the face anymore. That is it for this YouTube video. If you really like the video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and also make sure to click that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on that post notification bell so you won't miss a video that I ever post. Another reminder that I also have merchandise, which will be in my website, and you can find my website in the description box below, so be sure to check that out as well. That is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and let's end it off with one big juicy